Hello, my name is Yuping Cheng, and this is Shadow Task 6. We'll just get right into it. So for the demo, we made a AI using behavior trees and blueprints. So whenever it detects the player, it will try to go to the player, and when it doesn't detect the player, it will go back to patrolling its area. And this box is essentially the area it can patrol. So whenever the player breaks the line of sight with the AI, then it will just ignore the player. Well, it won't continue chasing the player, and it will just go back to roaming. So here, it will start chasing the player. So as long as I'm inside its line of sight, it will chase me. And the moment I break that, it goes back to patrolling. Right. And inside here is so the prerequisites for that is we need to have a nav mesh for it, so that it can actually move. The nav mesh tells the AI all the locations that it can move to, and this here is the model, the character for the AI. Of that, and so let's break into this. So we need to define a new AI controller. And the AI controller is reading back from a behavior tree. So essentially, similar to how the player has a player controller, a character controller, the AI would need its own controller. So um, so that it could do its own inputs, essentially. So this would be the AI controller, and it is reading back the behavior tree. And the behavior tree is behavior tree has two functions, which is roaming and chasing. And the selector is just essentially saying that if you are not doing one, you are doing the other. So that's pretty much it for the AI controller. Uh, and then the blackboard. Blackboard holds the values that the AI will use to determine what it needs to do. And essentially, the variables that uh, the variables that the AI would need to reference in order to execute its commands, execute its functions. And so, uh, in the behavior tree, and the separate task. Move this here. Okay. So here, behavior chase, the function for chasing is simply saying, I want you to move to the player. Uh, then here for the patrol, it is saying, within 800 units, I want you to pick a random spot and move to that location. That's essentially what this patrol is saying. And you need to do the finish execute, otherwise it would be stuck and would not know that it has finished moving. So yeah, so this finish execute allows it to move on from its move on from here and move on from its task and perform the next task. So uh, reading from left to right, it would be patrolling a random spot within 800 units of itself. After it has reached that spot, it marks it as complete and then moves on to the next task, which is just waiting 2 seconds. And if if the player has not been detected, it essentially loops. It essentially just loops um, this roaming behavior. if the player is detected, uh, if the player is detected, then it will chase. Actually, should probably move this. So I don't think I need to wait necessarily. Yeah, so it will chase the player, and it will essentially just uh, try to go to the player's location. So it's moving the AI character to where the player is, and that's pretty much it for the task. For the setup of the blackboard itself, uh, the variables, it would we would just need the boolean because we're just checking if it detected the player or not. So we just need to create a new variable, which is the boolean saying, have you detected the player or not? And this boolean is what is going to be called back and later in when we go through the detection method. So uh, so the boolean is what is allowing the AI to choose between roaming or chasing the player. And it doesn't really make sense right now because it has to be it would make sense in the bigger, like once the bigger picture is painted. So going on to the bigger picture, to the actual AI, the character for the AI. Inside the AI, we made a perception, an AI perception. This AI perception is mainly using sight because we want to detect a player based on sight, and then based on the line of sight, if the player is detected or not, if the player is seen or is if if the player is able to keep detecting the if the AI is able to keep detecting the player is what I mean. So so there's a few things, few nuances with that. You would have to detect neutrals if you haven't defined the enemies and friendlies, um, and which I have not. I haven't decided. I have not defined the enemies and the friendlies for what the AI, for the AI and for the player. Then the player is by default a neutral, and so is every other. So is every other pawn. Well, every other thing that is being detected. So um, until it is defined, everything is neutral. And so the only way that it can detect the player is if it is trying to detect the neutral. And the sight radius, lose radius is just the configuration for like how far it could see or not. I've also adjusted the movement speed because I don't want it to be moving as fast as the player and catching up to the player immediately, just for demonstration purposes. But anyways, going into the AI perception. So whenever the AI does perceive the player through sight, we are, we are making it handle the visual detection through here, is saying, okay, if you do see the player, um, essentially I want you to set the detection is detected to be true. And so I want you to switch the behavior tree. I want you to stop roaming and start chasing the player. And that's basically what this is saying. Um, and if you don't see the player, if you lose sight of the player, um, then essentially we're going to make it make the boolean false is detected to be false because no, you are no longer detecting the player, and so this goes back to set the behavior tree and saying, okay, you no longer see the player, so now I want you to run your patrol behavior. Uh, so yeah, and how that is set is here, is saying is set. So if if the player is not detected, then run this behavior, and then if the player is detected, is set, then run this behavior, and so it would run through these tasks. But obviously, there's only one task, which is just chasing the player. That's pretty much it. I don't think I missed anything else. Yeah, pretty sure that's pretty much it for how the AI functions.